Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're taking a look at an essentially Coinbase stock, which is on Monday, essentially this week. It will be trading in S&P 500. So closed somewhere around these $266 levels. There are a few things I want to show you guys, the large orders and what I'm thinking about this one. And we have covered this many times, okay? So if you're new to the channel, I'm going to show you this 2021. So essentially when all of these came out as a public company, I mean the last 5 years, which of these recent IPOs would you own for the next 10, 20 years? Airbnb, Palantir, Coinbase, Robinhood. And then I had another poll which was saying from these stocks, which will join S&P 500 first? Okay, so now we have Airbnb in it, last year in it, Palantir in it, Coinbase in it, and Robinhood 100% it will be in S&P 500 probably in the next 2 quarters, I believe. So let's get started with the chart, and there are a few things I want to show you guys. So we're gonna go as far back since the IPO. So IPO somewhere around like $380 or so. It opened somewhere right there, but IPO price was I think much lower, but it opened there. So and it did fly all the way to this $429 level, and essentially after that it has never seen those prices since 2021. Actually went down, came back up, went as low as 31, and I was pretty much calling out that like when new IPOs come out to the market, it does this. You have to let them turn into profit in order to write it back. Exactly same thing happening with all of the IPOs essentially from the last 5 years. And I think we had a DoorDash included in there as well. So now that is your very pivotal resistance area right here, $350 level right there. So where we rejected after going public, and we rejected it right here, pre-Christmas rally, if you guys remember, after election, crypto and everything essentially went crazy. This is when it tested that level and it just couldn't push higher. And then in the beginning of the year, it just opened at these levels where we are trading right now, somewhere around. So it looks like we closed the year at 248. So if you take a look at it year to date, yeah, it's flat to slightly positive. And 300 was very pivotal area, and we saw a lot of pressure here, and stock essentially came down from those levels 50%. And this rally right here that we had very recently from lows, where overall market bounced very nicely as well, this was okay, let's measure it. How much is it? So it's almost 80% move. So now for anybody who is trying to chase this name, especially when the stock will get added to S&P 500, S&P 500 is a market cap weighted index. And I have told that many times, when other stocks get added to S&P 500, that's not a catalyst to trade when it gets added at that moment. So basically what I'm saying is, when S&P inclusion happens, most of the stocks do not perform well for a while actually. I want to show you guys SMCI from the moment it entered. I think it was March, somewhere right here at 1200 and something. Usually these stocks are added to the index at the highest price, and pretty much all those retirement accounts are the suckers that will buy the top every freaking time when these stocks get added. Like take a look at DoorDash when it entered. Did it enter actually S&P 500? I'm not sure. I think so. And it was somewhere around these high levels. And as well, many MTCH, Match Group, literally in the during pandemic when it was trading at these $180 levels. This is when they S&P 500 added this stock to the index, and look where it's trading. So my point is, in order to go long, we'll talk about the levels for sure, what I'm watching from here. So in order for me to go long, I'm going to pull up the moving averages. I will be watching 200-day moving average. At least I'm going to reduce my risk significantly because that 200-day moving average at these $225 levels. Meaning if we're going to see some sort of a pullback, sure, I will give it a shot somewhere around here. 50-day moving average is way below. It has to catch up. So it is, in terms of moving averages, yes, slightly extended here. Okay. And also, if you want to trade it further, well, your upside risk from $265 to $300 levels, it's like basically your reward. If you want to go long, let's say if I wanted to go long, that would be somewhere up to this level, which is $35. But my risk is essentially same thing, maybe a little bit more, so $40 to the downside, because if it pulls back, it's going to pull right back to 200-day moving average. Okay, so IV jacked up, we know that. I mean, it's not crazy, but it was expensive. Like on average, it has implied volatility of like in 60s, like 60%, 65%, something like that. Yeah, it is a volatile stock because we know that like crypto moves crazy, and with it, the stock moves crazy. But there's another thing I want to show you guys. So on that day, on Friday, so this is the closing price when it was trading around these $260 to $65 levels. I use this tool, Volume Leaders. It essentially shows me largest orders. Okay. And this was very, very strange and very crazy orders that flooded the market on Friday, where you can see largest orders. Essentially, I'm considering these as profit taking and selling orders. Were number one, $6.5 billion order, and then $855 million order, $617 million, $475. So all these cluster of orders came in, and I believe these people are who took the profit. We can go as far back. Maybe let's take a look at 1 year, where we will see the support areas where if people have bought the certain dips, I would have seen largest clusters, or maybe number 2, number 3, like largest trades in history. But when you see when stock rallies and you see these kind of like big orders that come in, it's usually resistance and it's usually local top. It's not a permanent top, I'm not saying that, but take a look at last time when we had a rally after election. What happened? Number 5, number 6, number 11, number 13, number 14, all these large orders came in. But even then, these orders were not as big as these orders that came in recently on Friday, literally on Friday close. So in that sense, I'm going to be watching these levels as a pretty decent resistance. Unless it claims back above and it just starts squeezing, sure, why not? But this stock is capitalization $67.8 billion. And on that day alone, on Friday, you can do the math yourself. I'm pretty sure about like $10 billion were dumped. That's almost, how many percent? Like 15% of the market capitalization for this stock. That's very, very large orders that came in right there. So I'm not saying that it has to dump, but it's just certainly standing out to me, and I like to keep an eye on that one. And in terms of option activity, it's pretty much, I cannot say who is bullish, who is bearish, because by judging the statistics of the Friday nothing stood out. Like the the options that were traded at the asking price, only 25%. Same thing puts, same thing calls. Significantly more calls definitely traded, almost 500,000, 233,000 puts traded. But again, it could be just a bunch of people selling covered calls and people also selling puts to capitalize, and some people may be buying some directional bets. But for me, implied volatility is high. This stock has $15 range. This is like 5-6% every single day. So that means IV crush. That means the stock, in my opinion, could stall out. But again, we don't know where the BTC is going to trade. I know that Bitcoin is like almost about to break out. So if you are a believer that, Bitcoin breaks this 108K that we have all-time high for this, 410 actually. But if it takes out that level, sure, we might see higher squeeze because Robinhood actually, not Robinhood, the Coinbase is essentially pretty decently shorted as well. So actually, okay, that short interest dropped significantly. I'm seeing only like 5%, but we can take a look at the daily interest on a daily and quickly before we wrap this video. So let's take a look at the short volume. So it looks like on Thursday and Friday when stock rallied up, the most basically volume, like shorts came in, so 59%, 51% of the daily volume. But before that, it wasn't as crazy as it is, like 30s, 40s, and yeah, that's standing out as well. But again, in terms of, okay, let's take a look at the borrowing fee just to see. Okay, so there's plenty of shares to borrow. So yeah, that's my take for Coinbase. Essentially, I'm looking for some sort of a pullback and not basically chase this one. But again, I'm not telling you to buy or sell. This is purely for educational purposes only. Thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe. If you did, see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.